Welcome to the bold analysis. 2 days ago, rather earlier this week, the Citizen Weekly splashed a very bold headline here. And I think someone just shared it with me, tipped me about it. Plot to arrest Raila splits state security. This Citizen Weekly is normally produced on, I think if I'm not wrong, on Monday. Yes, on Monday every week. Yes, on Monday every week. And I actually dismissed it on the grounds that I think that was a bit overboard and it was far from the reality. And I remember us having a very heated discussion with some of our very close friends in this channel about that matter. Now, palipo na mwishi ni kama hapakosi moto. Today, if you check the Star website, they are running an interesting story about a split on William Ruto's deep state on how to handle Raila Odinga's call for mass action. Welcome to the Bold Analysis. My name is Kevin Aduar, and I want to kindly ask you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. Thank you very much for your support. We do this every day because of your full support.
Sisi hapa Kisumu tutaandamana kuanzia leo, kesho, Jumapili, Jumatatu mpaka wiki yote. Mwekubali? Walitoa subsidy ya chakula, bei ya maisha ikaenda juu. Huyo ni mwizi, sio mwizi. Walitoa subsidy ya masomo ikaenda juu. Mwizi sio mwizi. But I want to urge all the people of Kisumu that every single day, we must get out there to demonstrate to the world that we stand with Raila Amolo Odinga. Memorandum nimepokea, ninaomba tafadhali tuweke amani, na kama ni maandamano tufanye kwa amani. Amani sote tunapenda, tafadhali tuweke amani, tuweke amani.
On Tuesday, I think yesterday night, Babu Owino and that was Wednesday, I think. Babu Owino and Bakasu East Member of Parliament and Narok Senator Ledama Olekina posted in their Twitter handles of an alleged plan to arrest them. And I remember Ledama really pointing a finger at some senior officials. Now, that was their bit. What will then let us see is blockage of roads to different state lodges across the country, this one at the State House, on what is going on. So, do you think there is a bit of a dilemma on how to handle the mass action calls? I know that to some extent, I think I've been saying that many were expecting, even Raila supporters were expecting people to, the mass action to start immediately, like on Thursday, and things will hotten up. But that did not say. However, I want to point out to some few issues, interventions that I've seen going on, and whether they are related to what some of these newspapers are talking about. By the way, I think Nation was reporting that Raila Odinga, and that was the same newspaper, The Citizen, was pointing that Raila Odinga Twitter has received over 10,000 messages of people showing interest that they are ready to go for mass action. Now, this is according to a report that has just come out, that if you look at his Twitter page, the replies, you cannot send him direct messages, but then I think he's blocked it. Those who are responding, if you look at replies, sample replies in his Twitter page, there are quite a number of people that are showing interest in going for mass action. Now, let's look at some of these three interventions that have been dangled their way The first strategy is to probably do a security reshuffle so that those who may be deemed as Uhuru Kenyatta sympathizers can be pushed away from strategic areas that probably Azimio enjoyed massive support, so that they bring the bosses who are pro William Ruto. Remember, there was a plan at one point to even fire some some guys, some security bosses, and Rigathi Gachagua intervened and met them, telling them that they were just used for the last politics, and of course, the new administration is not going to interfere with them, but they need to align, rather conform to the hustler agenda. Now, what we have also seen is President Ruto is slowly constituting National Security Council, and former CS, current CS, of course, Monica Juma has been appointed as the chair, I think, of that National Security Council, and she's deputized by former police IG Joseph Boynet, who is also a member of the National Security Council. So this is the council that probably is going to advise the president on how what to do moving forward. I'm seeing the other one is appointments of CAS, Chief Cabinet, Chief Administrative Secretaries. This is seen as a way to pacify the Azimio basis, and that will be coming maybe in the near future. And probably, if he's going to give some appointments to the Azimio wing, then it can pacify with also appointments, although approaches on some of the key figures within the Azimio ranks and file to be given these positions, and we're waiting to see whether that will work out. President Ruto has tried to activate relief food nationwide in what is seen as atonement of the population, but this may not be sustainable, even though, of course, it's been spearheaded by some spouses of these politicians and also some cabinet members. We've seen Ezekiel Machongu in the northern part of Kenya trying to also spearhead these donations. I've always said that what is helping the public come of food, we should not politicize. So, on good note, that's a very good intervention just for now. Now, the big split about what next to be done comes here. There are those who might look at it as mass demonstration and will call on President William Ruto to call it off and terming it illegal and also akin to economic snap of the country. And it will also be seen scare away investors in this country, and that will still have an economic hit on the Kenya Kwanza administration. So that split on illegality is also there. Those who are arguing that this needs not to be condoned or rather tolerated because it can bring us a security hitch. Others also look at it, others believe that Ruto's slim win in the last general election cannot be assumed, and Raila is also influential. Raila's support base is huge that you cannot assume. So, as far as you want to go brutal, not, it's something there. There's the reality of the cost of living that is also pinching on the population. And anything that you want to do, you must also be oblivious that could it be that people will go to the streets legitimately and under personal will, as far as many will want to advise that people are going because Raila Odinga has said. Now there is a very difficult, there's a thin line between. Are they going because they are consuming Raila's the Azimio messages? Or there are those who will turn up because, okay, fine, things are bad, na mambo imechemka, and they don't have any option and think there is a solution there. That is also there. The faction that calls for illegality, terming it illegality, will also weigh on whether you should actually deploy the full force of the security forces in it, or and how that will turn out. Will it work against Azimio or against the image of government. Yesterday, I saw a very good gesture, and I think you need to appreciate that policeman in Kisumu. You know, they were very friendly, and they even received the petition by the population. Yes, alienda wakapatia, and they went back, and I remember the way Chief was saying, let's be very peaceful and let's make sure we don't destroy. In fact, I am seeing leaders across the divide saying that some saying that let them fight, let them watch wachome vitu zao. No, guys. I think the population has outlived that orthodox maandamano, and no one is going to don't interfere with other person's property. No, don't go into that, because I don't think that will be a good one. Tukichoma barabara kesho, pesa ambayo ingetumika kufanya vitu vingine itatumika kutengeneza hiyo barabara. You know, so we need to be very strategic as far as this is concerned. Now, I want to offer a very free point. And I wish sometimes that I'm hizi videos zetu so that you also pick. I've been telling you that pick, listen to our videos. You know, we are not propagandists, we're also strategists in some elements. And if you look at what people say in the comment section, you understand that yes, we also stand to give our opinions, and that is the importance of some of these spaces. Now, embrace a masses-centered approach. I can say this and repeat. Those who make an assumption that mass action is about Raila Odinga, that's where they're missing it. The only thing that Raila is doing in the space is being a catalyst or just a channel. And he's the custodian of surety that, you know, we can do it. He's just a catalyst. But instead of thinking about whether illegal or not illegal, or thinking on whether to deploy the police or not, the approach, if you look at, is a people-centered. If today, and let me just give an example. If today you are to go to Azimio and even grab Kalonzo and Martha Karua from the Azimio fold, do you think that will end? Do you think that can bring an end to mass action? No. The problem, and this is the assumption we cannot make, the issue here is not Raila Odinga. I can tell you, the issue here is what the population are being fed with, what the population are feeding. When Raila team are speaking about the cost of living and the price of unga, the government is also acknowledging that indeed the cost of living is a problem. And there is something we need to appreciate. When Rigiji went to public and said that they got a very broke government and things were not moving, and so the coffers are dry, and that's why they have a slow start, which was reasonable. If you don't have money, then you can have a slow start. But 6 months later, a report emerges on how billions are being spent, and what was used in that office has maybe been exhausted. So at one point, what do you want the public to consume? So the political class is already feeding the population with very contradictory and sensational messaging. That has come from both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. And it reaches a point where I think we can focus more on Raila Odinga, but the messaging on Raila reaches a plateau where nothing new he's saying, and then it doesn't need Raila. Any other person in any other grouping can go to the street. We've been seeing Mount Kenya leaders are going to the street. Did Raila call them? No. We saw traders to the street. There were maybe assembled with some 1 or 2 people, but look at the turnout. Did Raila call them to the street? No. So we need to be very, and I've always said, even if you can sustain a relief food, and you think that can atone the masses, I would prefer that for now, feed the masses instead of struggling with people at the top. If anything, that's what bottom up was, that you deal with the people at the ground. So apply bottom up on this. Leave the others on top. The more you're targeting the individuals, barricading, stopping what, doing this, frustrating that doesn't work. work with the masses. Number two, we should not, and this President William Ruto should not accept, or rather, should not really sit pretty comfortable and entertain a debate of whether peaceful or illegal. The responsibility of William Ruto is not um, to think about whether to have a peaceful or an unpeaceful protest. His responsibility as the head of state is to avert anything that can be that can bring public disorder. His role is to avert. And his role is not to choose whether for it to be peaceful or not. I know the constitution allows for peaceful, no? But if people are going to protest, President Ruto, do you think that there is not going to be a standstill? Yes. Who will go to open their businesses when the others are protesting in the street? No. And I've always said, whether peaceful or not peaceful, nani atafungua biashara yake? Utaambia nani ni peaceful, yeye sasa fungua tu. And what do you expect? So I think on president, the Security Council should not, the security team should not tell him about peaceful. No, your work is, you're the custodian of the whole of this, the whole thing. Number three is this: counter narratives in the political spaces and diversions are not working. If some people are telling Raila that he's been doing the same thing that he's been doing always in the past, then maybe why don't William Ruto do something different that maybe the past have not, on what was not approach that was not used in the past? Because the same approaches may be having, we've never ended up with a very peaceful demonstration. So on this one, I take it to the doorstep of President Ruto. If there is something that you can do to contain the situation and avert it, that's the best. Because whether you don't do it now or not, ultimately you'll have to intervene. That's it. Whether President Ruto chooses to act now or not act, acting is a must. The only issue here is time. Is when are you going to act? Even if it is peaceful, you will act. Even if it is non-peaceful, you will act. So if you can act now, why wait? That's my bold analysis.